You might think a bird known for its towering intellect starts life with some dignity. Instead, you begin in a pile of sticks swaying 50 feet up in a barren tree, held together by luck and spit. Inside that nest, there is zero grace. You share a cramped bowl with loud, aggressive siblings, and there is absolutely no taking turns. If you want to eat, you have to out-squawk everyone else. Meeting that demand takes a toll on the adults. Your parents are constantly flying back and forth, burning themselves out to find enough scraps. Sometimes the workload gets so heavy they have to recruit helpers, essentially the unpaid interns of the bird world, just to keep enough food dropping into all those open beaks. All that effort fuels a massive growth spurt. To double your size in days, you consume a steady, unappetizing diet of pre-chewed worms, beetles, and whatever else the flock can scavenge. Your early existence relies entirely on a strained family unit working overtime. Without them constantly feeding and guarding you, you are just a fragile, hungry target waiting for gravity to take over. Eventually, you have to leave the nest, but a young crow's first flight is rarely a graceful leap. You flap wildly, miss the target entirely, and end up in a clumsy heap of dry leaves on the forest floor. The physical mechanics of flight are exhausting. Even when you finally manage to stay airborne, you have no idea how to land. You routinely misjudge the distance to a branch and slam into it sideways. This clumsiness is a severe liability. Up in the canopy, hawks are actively scanning the trees. They know exactly what to look for, and they specifically target wobbly, uncoordinated rookies struggling to hold their balance. On the ground, things aren't much better. You lack the basic coordination to catch your own meals. A confident dive for a beetle usually just leaves you with a beak full of dirt. Take a look at this graph. Down here, you have the young crow's physical survival capabilities, slowly improving, but dangerously low. Above it, this high baseline represents the constant lethality of the environment. The space between them is a massive vulnerability gap, and a young crow alone simply does not have the tools to cross it. To survive that gap, crows rely on a highly structured social network. We can visualize this structure here, with the young crow as a central node, drawing direct connections from the older adults around it. Almost none of a crow's survival skills are instinctual. They have to actively observe older birds. When older crows uncover hidden insects or crack tough nuts, the young birds are watching. By mimicking those exact motions, the juveniles pull critical foraging data straight from the network. The same goes for threat assessment. A young crow doesn't automatically know which animals are dangerous. They have to wait for the sharp, urgent calls of the adults. Those vocal warnings trigger immediate evasive action, teaching the young bird exactly which shapes in the sky require taking cover. This local group of extended family and neighbors is known as a murder. It looks like a chaotic free-for-all from the outside, but it operates as an effective, crowdsourced information hub where every pair of eyes benefits the whole group. A crow's famous intelligence is a highly evolved social technology. The flock downloads its collective survival data directly into the most vulnerable individuals to keep them alive. As you grow into an adult, you begin to push out on your own. You take solo foraging expeditions to test your skills, exploring new territories, and figuring out what is safe to eat through trial and error. But poking around on the ground leaves you exposed. If a hungry fox comes out of nowhere and charges straight at you, a single crow has almost no natural physical defenses to fight it off. Your only real weapon is your voice. You let out a single sharp distress call. Within seconds, that loud alarm ripples through the entire area, summoning a massive swarm of reinforcements from the surrounding murder. The group immediately executes a highly coordinated mobbing tactic. Dozens of screaming crows dive-bomb the predator from every angle, swooping just close enough to strike until the animal panics and runs for its life. You can fly off and explore on your own, but true independence for a crow is an illusion. Your ability to confidently test your skills is entirely underwritten by the constant, aggressive backup of the collective. Eventually, you master the system. You find a mate with some aerial acrobatics, haul twigs up to the highest branch you can find, and enter the exhausting cycle of raising your own loud, demanding chicks. Yet the pressure never really lets up. Even an experienced adult crow has to maintain constant vigilance, scanning the perimeter for cats, rival birds, and anything else looking for an easy meal. And then, without a single warning call, a hawk drops from the canopy. You don't even see it coming. In a fraction of a second, the strike lands and you plummet to the ground. A few minutes later, a human walking through the park spots your body. They crouch down, tilt their head, and maybe offer a quiet word of pity. What they don't realize is that dozens of eyes are fixed directly on them from the branches above. The physical body of a crow is incredibly fragile and easily eliminated, but the society it leaves behind in the trees is permanent, and it is always watching. This is where the power of the crow's network takes over. They possess a unique biological capacity for collective memory, paired with the ability to precisely recognize individual human faces. Looking at this diagram, we see how the network reacts. The murder observes the innocent human standing over their flock member. Instantly, they lock onto the face, incorrectly tag it as a lethal threat, and broadcast that target to the entire group. The real-world retaliation is immediate. From that day forward, every time that specific person walks through the neighborhood, the flock will descend. They scream, dive bomb, and make absolutely sure the human never feels safe outside. And they don't keep the grudge to themselves. They actively teach younger birds to recognize the target, passing the resentment down through the network and turning a localized misunderstanding into a multi-generational war against one very confused person. An individual crow is a soft target in a highly lethal world, but by integrating into the murder, they secure an unbreakable, terrifying legacy. Even when the bird is gone, the collective remembers.